as an investing group, we try to look at all facets of investing, and we've invited guests from many different areas. And the newly opened up area of cannabis and hemp meant it was significant and valuable to bring in someone like Scott to talk about it and give people an insight into that subject. Scott Giannotti, who is founder of the Cannabis and Hemp Association and president of the Disruptive Discussions Group.
Thank you.
So,
well done.
A very warm welcome for Scott. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My title is founder of the Cannabis and Hemp Association, which is a trade association I started 4 years ago, almost to the day, in May of 2014, here in New York City, for the emerging cannabis and hemp industries. I've been an activist and an advocate for the last 20 years, and what I learned, what I've always known, was that this industry of cannabis and hemp is going to be more than just growing, processing, and sales of cannabis. There needs to be a large quantity of businesses around those three core businesses to support that industry, and pretty much most industries operate the same way. So I've been doing this for about 4 years. Pretty close to a year ago, not quite, we started a cannabis stock club which meets every month. So if you have an interest in diving deep into all the various companies worldwide, because we don't just focus on American companies, we focus on every continent where there is a cannabis industry, and we keep you at the forefront of what's going on a month-to-month basis. Disruptive Discussions is a separate company that I recently started because my number one passion is education when it comes to this industry, because destigmatizing what I believe to be a very healthy plant and a very critical plant to sustainable living here on the planet is very important to me, and teaching people the facts versus the myths is something that's very important. And some of the things that I may think as facts could be disproven as myths in the future, but at the very minimum, we're seeing that more and more of the world is moving towards this, not necessarily away from this. The business opportunities in this sector are virtually infinite, and it is a very complex sector, and we're going to go into it. And today we're just going to touch upon why this is something you may want to look into, or you might just want to stay away from, and that's all we're going to really do today. But this is just an intro to this future workshop, which we're going to be doing right here in this location on June 2nd.
That was just valuable information for someone that wants to get into the cannabis industry.
People need to know that about 65% of all Americans living in this country are living in a territory where cannabis is legal, because now you have the entire West Coast, from Alaska straight down Washington, California, Oregon. It's all legal, and that's a massive amount of population. 25 to 35,000 different unique agricultural and industrial products that you can make from the fiber of the plant, the oils from the plant, all the different aspects of the plant that are not used for medical or recreational purposes. Our Governor Cuomo wants New York to be the #1 hemp producing state in the nation. He said it dozens of times in the media.
It was a great presentation, and he gave a really great overview of all the different methods and ways in which you can invest in the cannabis industry. And basically, he talked a little bit about the major areas in terms of the medicinal, the recreational, and the use of hemp.
CBD is an extract. It can be gotten from plants that have THC, which would be construed as marijuana. You can also produce plants by genetically breeding them to not have THC and only produce CBD. This industry has been growing explosively. I got into the industry when it first launched in 2014. Right now it's a $200 million a year industry. It's growing by about 50 to 75 million a year. And hemp seed and oil right now is already sold in most supermarkets. I see it at TJ Maxx, I see it at Marshall's, I see it in ShopRite.
I myself would like to get into the medicinal part of it, the CBD oil, which he had mentioned, and which he does himself, and I do as well. And it's just a great industry to be in.
The reason that cannabis is going to be so compelling is there is a chemical found in cannabis called CBD, which is the business that I'm in, which it's not psychoactive at all. So you can take as much of this as you really need to take, and it really helps to reduce inflammation, drug cravings, and I already have many people that come up to me and they say, hey, my doctor told me he won't prescribe me opioids anymore. He gave me a medical marijuana card and told me to go medicate that way. that's happening more and more these days because doctors are trying to get people away from the drugs that people get easily addicted to.
He also provided a great list of his top 25 of various companies that you can invest in terms of the cannabis industry. It's not just one or two stocks. There's a large number of stocks.
These are the top 25 cannabis stocks to know. You don't have to sit there and write these down if you sign in.
We talked a little bit about some of the research that's happening.
That require no employees, essentially, to actually farm this stuff. It's all done via computers and systems. So you literally plant everything, close the door, come back in 120 days or 90 days, open the door, and you've got a full-fledged farm ready to harvest.
The stock market is hot right now with this industry, and he's the one to go, the go-to man for that.
So I enjoyed it very much. I learned a lot, and I'm glad Scott came in.